welcome back to episode 7 of Plat'n That. I can't believe already it's 7 episodes. That's kind of crazy. Today we have PlatinumPlayer12's account. PlatinumPlayer12 has 593 platinums. We're going to be here a while, so go get some popcorn, go get some drinks, and make yourself comfortable. Their first platinum was about 10 years ago, I believe. That was in Telltale's The Walking Dead. However, their first trophy was in a game called Golden Axe, which I believe is a hack and slash that doesn't have a platinum trophy. I could be wrong. We'll probably see that. Well, we'll definitely see that in the list below. So if you like this sort of content, do like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot, lets me know that you enjoy this sort of video. If you'd like your own list done, leave it also in the comments below, or join the Discord. The link's in the description, and post it there where I can then add it to the list. But without further ado, let's jump right in. Alrighty, and we're starting this list off with 3 root letters, followed by a root letter last enter. I assume last enter is a sequel of sorts, probably along the same lines as like the Paugi games. We then have 112th seed. We've got some 30 fragments of midnight rather. This is one of those sort of tile sliding easy peasies of sorts, I guess you would describe that. We've got a hero and a garden next. These have all been relatively high completion, so if you like sort of your relatively quick trophies, maybe take note of some of these here. We've got a Summer with the Shiba Inu, which is the first game that I'm interested in. It's got a doggo on the front, so it's won me over instantly. Adding that to the wish list. A Way Out is next. A Way Out is a co-op game where you and another human partner essentially have to break out of prison. It's very, very interesting. It's got a unique system. I need to do this one myself, so if you would like to do it at some point, let me know. I need friends, apparently. But it's got a unique system where you have to play the whole thing in co-op, but you can potentially play it where only one of you actually owns the game and the other person can just essentially have access to the game via that. The second person won't have access to trophies, however. I believe that's how that works. We've got Abs Animal next, followed by a pair of access denieds, some active neurons, something I'm severely lacking. Actual Sunlight, another thing I'm severely lacking. Adventure Capitalist, we've talked about this one. I think this game has actually been on every single list so far, funny enough. I think you take over the world with capitalism, I guess. We've got Age of Zombies. That's giving me a flashback to like 13-year-old Symmetry with the iPod Touch right there. AI, the Somnium Files, the Somnium Files 2. Got some Alien Destroyer, Alien Isolation only at a B rank, and Alien Colonial Marines at an E. Come on, Platinum Player, you can clean those up. I have faith. We actually have a couple of people in the Discord who have been talking about Aliens Colonial Marines, so maybe not a bad idea to link up with them and sort of see whether you could get that one done, potentially. All Zombies Must Die. We've got some Alpha Set by Paugi. What on earth is an alpha? I mean, I know what an alphabet is. I don't know what an alpha set is. That's new to me. These are essentially games where essentially just finder words and stuff like that, like real, usually fairly quick. I think you get stuff like Sudoku as well. I'm not that versed in Paugi, to be perfectly honest with you. Brain games make me hurt. Angry Birds Star Wars. We've got the Angry Birds trilogy. Both B ranks, it's not bad. One of them is quite a low, hold on, 2 of them are quite low in the ultra res. That's actually kind of crazy. It looks like the trilogy on Vita is now unobtainable. I assume because servers are potentially closed. I assume that's probably the answer to that. We've got some Ape Escape on PS3. I actually didn't know there was a PS3 version of Ape Escape. I do know that on the PS4 we're getting the PS1 remasters in the new PS Plus system and all that fun stuff. We've got some Apple Slash, some Arkedo Series 01 Jump. We've got a second one here, Arkedo Series 03 Pixel. Come on, Platinum Player, we need number 2. We've got to complete the series. We've got Ascend Shaft and the Endless Shaft. That's a name. That's a name. We've got a pair of those actually. In fact, you've only just beaten. There's only about what is that? There's not that much time between the two. That's you are getting through some of these games very, very fast. Apple Slash, less than 40 minutes. We've got some Astro's Playroom. It's always really nice to see that 100%. I really enjoyed it myself. I think it's a lot of people's first PS5 Platinum just because it's actually built into all the consoles. The 100% is some speedrun trophies. I can near guarantee you'll get most of the speedruns done first try. They're all very, very lenient, but also very, very fun to do. I have a couple of mates that periodically get on and try and beat one another for the fastest times. It's always hilarious to watch the two of them going at it. We've got some Attack of the Toy Tanks. We've got a pair of those. Autumn's Journey. Awesome P. I don't know what the Awesome P is, but I'm really curious. I mean, you know, it's got a completion rate of only 67%, so it can't be that awesome. Otherwise, it'd be like 90%. But Awesome P2. Apparently, it's more awesome than the first one because it's at 71.5%. So that's always fun. We've got the really OG Telltales here with the Back to the Future series. I don't think these are their first games. I think you'll find the Telltale games go as far back as like the Lost tie-in and like the NCIS TV show tie-ins or CSI, one of those ones. But they also did some games before the Walking Dead one absolutely skyrocketed them. Back to the Future being one of the two of those, Jurassic Park being another one. But as you can see here, PlatinumPlayer12 actually has I believe all of the episodes and then also the complete version twice in Back to the Future the game and the game on PS4, those being the non-episodic versions of the 100% episodic versions that you can see above them. We then have Bad Apple Wars. Who won? Was it the Granny Smiths or was it the Pink Ladies? Do let me know who won the war. We've got a Bakugan Defenders of the Core. Now, Bakugan was always one of those things that I never got into myself. I think I was a little too old by the time that came out. It was the one with the little balls, right? It was the one where they had the little balls that you put on a card and the card made them become a monster or something. I was more Yu-Gi-Oh! Myself. I came from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Generation. But that's pretty cool. It looks like you didn't really get into it yourself. I'm assuming probably because, again, you're probably more my sort of age and kind of missed that window. We've got some Barry the Bunny. I've never heard of Barry the Bunny, but I want to know this one as well. There's some... See, I'm not very well versed in sort of quick platinums. I don't... They're not my thing personally. I can definitely understand why people do enjoy them. But every now and then I see one like Barry the Bunny, and I want it. I want Barry the Bunny on my account. That's a good one. That's a good one right there. We've got some Batman here in Batman Arkham Asylum. We've got some Enemy Within and the Telltale game. Those are both the Telltale ones. This Telltale series being number 1, the Enemy Within being number 2. Arkham Asylum obviously being the Rocksteady and Warner Bros. Very famous, what would you call it, beat 'em up? I guess you call it a beat 'em up. City, Origins, and Night being the sequels. I would say Platinum Player, maybe do that series at some point. They're all very, very fun games. I mean, I haven't done them all myself. I just have Arkham Asylum, and even that took me many years and a lot of mates to get that platinum. We have Battle Islands is next. Battlefield 1943 is always an awesome one to see. I love 1943. That is a very large part of my childhood right there. Battlefield 4 and Hardline, you started, you didn't get into, and I think Hardline here is our first unobtainable game for the account, which I'm sorry to see that sucks, man. If you look here, when you have PSNP Plus installed, which is the plugin that I talked about in the last video, you can see when a game has an unobtainable trophy, like such, this being a DLC trophy that is unobtainable. We got some Beat Souls, we got some Bejeweled 2, Bendy and the Ink Machine is actually one I'm interested in. I believe Bendy and the Ink Machine is like a platformer of sorts. Very, very interesting game, and it's an ultra rare at 4.5%, which is always nice to see. We've got some Bentley's Hack Pack, so Bentley's Hack Pack is essentially a spin-off of Sly Cooper, I believe. We have some Beyond Two Souls, BioShock 2. You've just started. It's the only BioShock here in this entire list. It's the one with the multiplayer, so if you ever want to go back for that, good luck. That is a long I believe you have to get to like level 70 or something along those lines, which is kind of rough, not gonna lie. I played a little bit of BioShock 2's multiplayer back in the day on the 360, and it was fun, but it came from that era, and there's a lot of games like it, hence why there's an era. But it came from an era where there was a lot of single player games that had some shitty tacked on multiplayer. BioShock 2 being one of those games, and it definitely affects going back to that Platinum. I would say if you wanted to experience BioShock, I would say just do the PS4 versions where there isn't any multiplayer and you can just play the games for what they are, because they are genuinely great games, except for Infinite's DLC. And here they all come. Don't hurt me. We've got Bird Game Plus twice. We've got Birthday of Midnight. I believe Birthday of Midnight is made by the same people that did 36 Fragments of Midnight. We've got some Bushido here. Some Bushido Battles Cyber Panic Battle. Is there a Cyber Sleuth? Was I semi-correct when I started to say Cyber Sleuth? I feel like I've already done one of these. It might have been Dargle's account, maybe, that had a that had a Cyber Sleuth on it as well. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. It's a reoccurring theme in this series. We've got some Mahjong Solitaire. We've got some Blasting Agent. Some Blind Men. We've got Blitzbreaker. My good friend Bruce Man loves Blitzbreaker. We have Balloons TD5. We've got some Borderlands here. We got 100% in Borderlands 1. Always really nice to see, because I do remember some of Borderlands 1's DLCs being really, really grindy. I need to do it myself on Symmetry. Borderlands 2, you only started. You did not get into it. In fact, you went back and cleaned up Borderlands 1 in 2018, but you didn't bother with Borderlands 2. I would definitely be interested, Platinum Player, in seeing why that is. Like, what sort of made you want to go back and clean the first one up but not necessarily go and do 2? Is it because of the challenges? Is it because the challenges are actually fairly rough to do, potentially? We have some bouncy bullets. We have a hell of a lot of bouncy bullets, a gaggle of bouncing bullets, you might say, in the first game with multiple stacks, and the second game as well. We have Break Quest Extra Evolution, some Breeder Homeground Director's Cut. I've never heard of this, Platinum. We have Bricks and Bricks 2, Burly Men at Sea. I've talked about Burly Men at Sea to death. Not one of my favorite games. Probably very far down the list, personally. Could not get into. Way too artsy with way too many endings. Burn Zombies Burn. This was a game that we also saw on Beautiful Torment's account. Tragically, it is unobtainable. That really sucks. I believe when we looked at it on... No, I don't think it was this one, but there was a game... It might have been this one, actually. Burn Zombies Burn. It might have been this one, where if we were to go into it, there's a DLC that just was never released. Obviously, I don't think you got far enough to experience that in the game, because you have only sort of really started it by the look of it. But it was one where there was DLC that just never was released, which bloody sucks. We've got some Cabela's Dangerous Hunts. These are actually surprisingly really ultra rare. I, to be perfectly honest with you, didn't know that the Cabela's games made it past the PS2 era, where there was one like every 3 days. But it turns out that that series is still going strong and is apparently worth quite a lot physically, for reasons. We have the Call of Duties here. You know I love my Call of Duties. Let's dig in deep. Let's dig in deep right here. We've got Advanced Warfare PS4. You've just started, you haven't got into it. If you ever want to do the Exo Zombies, let me know. I need to clean that up myself. However, you've done Advanced Warfare on PS3. You've done all but I believe I think that's 2 of the DLCs. I think 11 trophies left is 2 of the DLCs, which is pretty bloody impressive. I really like Advanced Warfare. I think the story in that game is actually fairly good. Turns out the villain in that game, that held up quite well. The Kevin Spacey's a bad guy. Yeah, that held up well. But there's no multiplayer trophies, which is really nice. It is a fun multiplayer in this COD. I would say it's probably up there as a favorite multiplayer in COD for me. I think it's fairly dead at this point, but all of the DLC is zombies, and it's crap zombies. So you've got to sort of balance good story for crap zombies as to whether this one is worth pursuing. We have some Black Ops 4. We have a lot of Black Ops 4. Hold on, I want to see what we're missing in here. I am very slowly working on Black Ops 4 myself. I have a group in the Discord where we're very slowly going at it. I don't think we've made any progress since about May, but every now and then we pop in and smash out a DLC. All I'm gonna say is fuck the Titanic map. That map sucked. Anyway, I'm curious. I reckon I know what it's gonna be. I reckon I know which. Yep. How did I know? How did I know that we were gonna miss some blackout here? I knew. How did I know we were gonna miss some blackout here? For anyone who doesn't know, these trophies are rough. So, for example, to unlock Woods alone for this trophy here, I'll highlight it for you. So, to unlock that character alone, you need to drop at a specific part of the map. Hope that the bandana has spawned in that specific part of the map, because it's not guaranteed. Then pick the bandana up, get in a helicopter for a minute, which is easier said than done. There's a helicopter that spawns at that spot, but again, it's not guaranteed. So you've got to hope that the bandana and the helicopter spawns, and no one else is going for it. That's always handy. You've then got to sit in the helicopter for 60 seconds. Now, I found when I went for this, I never unlocked Woods. I tragically came very close a lot. I still need to do it, obviously. I found the best way of doing it was, if this is the Earth here, you hover the helicopter like here for 60 seconds. Just make sure you don't touch the ground and you're good. It's got like a little checklist thing that you can, if you hit start, it'll show you if you've made any progress, I believe, from memory. Once you've got those 2 requirements met, all you need to do is win the game. And anyone still playing Blackout in 2022 is a god at that game. And it's rough. It's rough. Some of the other ones in there, Reznov needs a sniper kill from a ridiculous amount of distance, for example. I am curious. Yeah, 25 weapons in zombies. This is not easy either. They're very, very grindy. I think in all the time that I've been playing, I have 3 weapons grinded out. I am curious as to see if you're missing any DLC trophies. It doesn't look like you are. That's really nice. It's just Blackout, which is a rough one. I'm confident that you can do it, and that would definitely be an impressive platinum to have. I see another very impressive one in just a second here with Cold War, which, for those of you who don't know, the Spec Ops trophy, or not Spec Ops, arcade mode, is that what it's called? I can't remember what they're called. Dead Ops. Dead Ops, there it is. I've worked it out. I've cracked the code. So Dead Ops was like a top-down twin stick kind of thing that when the game released, you had to spend 4 hours on straight to beat. I think they've since added checkpoints, which makes it a little bit easier. Cold War's fun. The campaign's not that great, but it's a COD. It's fun. Black Ops 2, you started, you didn't get too terribly far in. I feel like you probably do have the unobtainable trophies. I know that the 2 unobtainable trophies in Black Ops are both ranked. They're both ranked modes. We've got some Black Ops 3 here. You started the PS3 version. Big oof, Platinum player. You did, however, get the 100% in the PS4 version. This is really impressive as someone who, again, is slowly going for this one. I know just how grindy those weapon kills are. The zombies in Black Ops 3 is not so bad. I think Rod Crovey has a rough map to do. Some of the trophies in there, like there's a time and a score attack, for example, they really suck, but I think a lot of the other maps are actually fairly not difficult to get these trophies in. You can normally sort of knock out an entire DLC in 4 to 6 hours-ish, give or take, which is fairly cruisy in all honesty. You've got Call of Duty Ghost, You didn't really get into this one. No one really got into this one. Infinite Warfare, again, one you didn't really get into. One that hurts me because I love this one. It's definitely a favorite of mine, Infinite Warfare. If you love Titanfall or if you love Halo, I don't see how you can not like Infinite Warfare, for example. It's a very fun campaign. The multiplayer's fairly poo, but there's only one trophy for that. The zombies is great. I'm very alone in this, but I really like zombies from World War II and Infinite Warfare. I know, I have shit taste, but yeah, this is a fun one. I would definitely say Platinum Player of all the games I've seen so far. If you're gonna clean one up, this is the one I'd go with, and I'm always here to boost it too because I need to do it myself. We've got some Modern Warfare. We've got some Modern Warfare 2, 3 remastered. I love seeing these. I'm guessing you'll probably do Modern Warfare 2 remastered when it or the reimagining when it drops in, I believe, October of this year, if I'm not mistaken. We've got some World at War at the end here. I'm guessing it's the DLC that you've got left over. And probably veteran difficulty with its horrific grenade spam. Alrighty, and moving on for the Call of Duties, we've got some Capcom beat 'em up bundles. That's always a nice one to see of classic like Capcom arcade fighters and all that sort of fun stuff. We've got some Cartoon Network Punch Time, Powerpuff Girl beat 'em up kind of thing. We've got some Castle Crushers. We've got some Castle Pals, moving into some Cat Quest and some Chaos Child. In fact, we've got 4 Chaos Children there. That's a lot of Chaos Child right there. We've got some Chickens on the Road, which is always a staple, some would say, with its 99.44% completion. That is crazy. Imagine being part of the 0.66%. Imagine being one of those. I should be one of those. I should just pop a trophy in that game just to hold the like tiny little bit of percentage that stops that from being 100%. We've got some Citizens of Earth, some Clash Force, some Clicker Heroes, and some Cloudberry Kingdom. I love Cloudberry Kingdom. I remember watching Achievement Hunter play this way back in the day. I'm not surprised to see that you haven't completed that one just because I know it's really bloody hard, as the 0.10% kind of confirms there. That is definitely a absolutely tough one there, but 80% is a really impressive Platinum Player. Congratulations on that. We've got some Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. This is a movie tie-in game. We've got some... Those don't really exist anymore, do they? Movie tie-in games. Hold on. Because we had, like... I remember when trophies first became a thing, you had your classics like Terminator Salvation and Hannah Montana being easy-peasy games, which, looking back, compared to now, that's kind of hilarious, given that those both took, like, a day minimum each. Whereas you then look at Chickens on the Road, which took less than 10 minutes. It's kind of crazy just to see how far the easy peasies have come. But we don't really have the movie tie-in games anywhere near as much anymore, I don't believe, in comparison to back then when you had, you know, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball and the one with the blue guy that was voiced by Will Ferrell. I can't think of the name. I'm a professional, I know. Let's just move on. Let's just move on from my little ramblings. We've got some Coconut Dodge, some Collar Malice, some Concept Destruction. I do apologize when it comes to a lot of these sort of sub like 3-hour games. I'm not going to really have much to say on them just because I don't know the fast genre very well. I don't really do quick platinums myself much, so a lot of these I'm seeing for the first time, or it's kind of like I just recognize the artwork and that's it, whereas, you know, when we're getting to the crashes, for example, which is a little bit below us, I can talk more about those, for example, so I do apologize about that. We've got some Concept Destruction, again, sub an hour. I assume this is like a demolition derby of sorts, just based on the profile picture there. We've got some Crash Bandicoots, and they're all 100%, which is really nice, because I know Stormy Ascent in the first game, for example, is rough. I know that is a very, very rough one. I played Crash Bandicoot 1 on an old account that I have, Mudstuff, and I couldn't get past the high road. I think it was called the high road. It was one where there was a big wall, like a big wooden wall, and you had to climb up of it. And there was a lot of platforms where there was like a fire brazier that you couldn't stand on, otherwise otherwise you would be incinerated. And I just didn't have the talent that I did as a child, which, you know, that's always something that's nice to know, that you're worse than like 6-year-old you. And I swiftly gave up on Crash Bandicoot. I don't think I'll ever put them on Symmetry, just because my reflexes are very slow at this point for platformers. Apparently I've lost the magic, but absolutely impressive 100% there. And that's a very nice one. I'd be curious to see if you ever plan on doing Crash 4 at all, just to sort of complete the series. It does look like you do like to complete things, as you can see with Croc's World below us here. We've got all of those complete, so I would be curious to see maybe if you do want to go back and finish all of the crashes, given how close you are, because that'd be a really, really impressive one to see there. We've got some cross kush. We've got some more Paugi here, crossovers. I believe this is like a crossword. Believe it or not, I think that's what that is. Is that a thing where Australians call them crosswords and everyone else calls them crossovers? Is this one of those where I just don't know that the rest of the world has a different name to us weird Australians? Let me know in the comments. We've got some crypto by Paugi. We got some, oh, here we go. This is nice. I like these. This is perking up the old simmy senses right here. We got the Crisis series complete here. We've got Crisis 1. We've got Crisis 2, which is insanely impressive with its 1.57%. And then we also have Crisis 3. Now, if you look at Crisis 2, there's a lot of unobtainable trophies there, and that's because the multiplayer servers are very dead. I think looking at this, 2018, I think that was about when the servers went down. So I assume you went back and smashed those out just to stop having those unobtainables on your account, which is really impressive. I like these. I think Crisis 2 might be the most impressive game I've seen so far, potentially, although there was some good CODs in there as well. You like your shooters, you like your impressive shooters, and as a fellow FPS player, it gets the Simmy seal of approval. We've got some Cuphead here. You started it. I'm guessing you didn't really get into it just due to the sort of maybe fast-paced nature of it. I personally didn't really get into Cuphead myself either, so I can definitely understand that. We got Siberian, the time-traveling warrior. Some Dadish 2, very fancy. Daggerhood. I've heard good things about Daggerhood, actually. I think this is one. It's like it's an easy peasy, but I believe it's a roguelike of sorts. I think the thing that makes it easy peasy is you don't have to actually beat the game to get all the trophies. I don't think you have to get very far into it at all, to be honest. But I think if you actually were to play the whole game out, it's a genuinely actually pretty good game. I could be wrong, I'm mixing it up with a different Metallica game, but I think it's Daggerhood. We've got some Danganronpa here. We've seen a few of these on this series in the past. We've got Danganronpa 1.2 Reload, some .2 Goodbye Despair, another episode Ultra Despair Girls. That one is actually done twice. We've got Danganronpa Killing Harmony. So I'm guessing you like your JR. I think I'm downloading sort of the sort of games that you might necessarily quite like, Platinum Player. I'm thinking we're seeing a lot of first-person shooters. We're starting to see some JRPGs here as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more of those later on in the list. Only one Dark Souls, and you did not get into it. I assume if I would open this up, let's have a look. I reckon we're getting as far as Capra Demon, based on the 5% here. I'm thinking, so we've got one weapon through just a reinforcement. Yep. So we got as far as Andre the Blacksmith. We got the Estus Shards. We beat the Gargoyles. Yeah, that's about the spot of the game that I was expecting. I love Dark Souls myself. Going back to it now is rough. That game has aged fairly poorly, especially Lost Izalith. it's not for everyone, but it's one that I would say would be an impressive one to clean up, and definitely would boost the completion rate, which based on your, I believe it was 84%, I'm guessing this is something that you at least somewhat care about to an extent. We've got some darts, some dead block. I love Dead Island. This is a nice one to see here. I really like seeing some Dead Island. They're not easy platinums as well. You have to do some, I believe it's arena-based stuff or like wave-based stuff with at least 4 players. I think one of them has beating the game with 4 players, does it not? I believe that is potentially a trophy. So those are both really nice to see. I want to do them on PS4 at some point. So Platinum Player, if you did want to stack these at some point, do let me know, because I would actually be mad keen to knock out some Dead Island, and I think I have at least one other person that would do it with us. Bruce, you know I'm talking about you, buddy. We got some Dead Nations here. This is what I see on a lot of accounts that I want to do. I know very little about Dead Nation besides it's obviously a zombies game. I think it was free on PS Plus at some point as well. But it's one that I'm curious about. And if you look there too, you can see the PS3 version has DLC trophies. I believe the PS4 version just brought those trophies and put them in its base game list, although looking at it, I think I'm wrong, because they've both only got 41 trophies in the list themselves. So that's interesting right there. That's an interesting one to see. We've got some Dead or Alive 5, Dead Rising 2. None of these have been actually completed, but we've made some fucking solid progress in them, which is nice to see. Dead Rising 2 off the record. Some Deadpool. I believe Deadpool is now actually not unobtainable, but delisted. I don't think you can go to, say, the PlayStation Store and actually buy that game anymore. We've got some Deep Space Rush. I was hoping for some Dead Space. Now I'm just sad. Deep Space Rush, some Defiance with some unobtainable trophies. I'm gonna guess. I'm looking at this now. We haven't put it on yet, but I'm gonna say it's a PS3 game that you did in 2015, which means it's older than 2015. I'm gonna say that every single one of those trophies is unobtainable, because this is one of those weird first-person free-to-play shooters that they had for a bit. Let's have a look here. And I'm correct. I did it. I passed the quiz. All of them are unobtainable. That is a rough Platinum Player. I hate to see that. We've got some delicious Pretty Girls Mahjong Solitaire. That exists. We got some Delta Squad, another one of these Destiny of Spirits. I reckon they're all going to be unobtainable. It's again the other good indicator with some of these is when they didn't have a platinum, like this one right here. So let's have a look here. Yep, again, all unobtainable. That sucks to see. I am sorry to see that, Platinum Player. We've got some Devious Dungeons. Oh, these are impressive. I like seeing these. Disney Infinity right here. These are really impressive. So these are all super low percentage rates with some unobtainables in here too. Like a 2.0 here has 3 unobtainable trophies. I believe these are as rare as they are because you needed a bunch of those little like minifigure things that you had to like scan into the game to unlock the character or something like that. And I believe they had trophies tied to them. I think I actually know someone that has a complete stack of the Disney Infinite series. But these 3 right here with Universe and Infinity and Infinity 2, really impressive. I think that's a second place. I think Crisis 2 is still, in my opinion, the most impressive thing I've seen so far. I think Infinity 1 and 2 there are probably close to being second place if Black Ops 3 is not second place, because I'm biased as hell. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Platinum Player, where were our Assassin's Creeds? Where were the Assassin's Creeds? Where are they? I'm now distraught. I'm gonna need to take a break from this. I can't do this right now. We got some Distraint, and we got Distraint to some Don't Die, Mr. Robot. Some Don't Touch This Button. Oh, I'm gonna touch that button. I touched the button. What happens when I touch the what happens when I touch the button is I reset the list. I'm going to do a hard cut and find us and get back to where we were. I'm a professional, I promise. Alrighty, and I found where we were up to, like the professional that I am. I definitely didn't completely stuff up when I touched that button. We've got some Donut County next. I've done this Platinum, actually. This is a very, very fun one. You play as a whole that is trying to suck in everything in the environment. There's a story tied in to do with the Raccoon King as well. It's a great little game. Very, very charming little one that I definitely would recommend. We've got some Doodle Devil. We've got a lot of doodle here. We've got a lot of doodle. Wow, we've got all the doodle. All the doodle right here. Doodle Devil 3 times. Doodle God 3 times. Doodle God Evolution. Doodle Kingdom. It's a lot of doodle. That's a lot of doodle. We got some Doom here. Doom 2016, 100%. I love to see that. A lot of multiplayer in that DLC, but it's a lot of very, very fun multiplayer, actually. I really enjoyed Doom 2016. The original Doom on PS4 and the original Doom 2 on PS4. Those are tricky. Those are some actually, that's again, more really impressive first-person shooting ultra-res, which is really awesome to see. I know Doom 2 specifically, I think you actually need co-op to beat. I would be curious to see whether you ever plan on doing Doom 3 at all. I'm one of those rare people that loves Doom 3. We've got some Doom 64. I think this is an easy peasy purely because you can use the chapter select in that game to just get to all where the trophies are. We've got some Doom VR right there. We've got some Dragon. We actually got. Wow! I did not know there was that many Dragon Ball games on consoles. To be perfectly honest with you, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Dragon Ball Xenoverse ×2, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Dragon Ball Z Budokai HD Collection, Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi. I think it's Tenkaichi. I think I've got it right here. They're all really low completions as well. I'm guessing they're all beat 'em ups, right? They've all got to be like side fighters or they've all got to be fighters and or beat 'em ups. I can't see these being, you know, shooters or puzzle games or something like that. So I'm assuming beat 'em ups or not even side scrolls. I can't even see that. Beat 'em ups or like fighters. We've got some Battle of Zed, some Kakarot, some Raging Blast, some Raging Blast 2. Again, all really impressive platinums. A lot of ultra rare platinums here too, like Raging Blast here with the 1.2% completion. We've got some Draw Slasher, some Drowning. I know Drowning is like a walking sim, easy peasy. We've got some Duck Souls Plus. What about Duck Souls Minus? That's a funny joke. I'm just gonna give myself a little clap there. I'm very proud of that one. Very creative. Took me a while to come up with. We've got some DuckTales. We've got some Duke Nukem 3D, some Duke Nukem Forever. Again, I love Duke Nukem as well. I believe you can do the N64 Duke Nukem. I think that might be Duke Nukem no. I just don't think you have that one yet. I think that's the Celebration Edition or something along those lines. I'd be curious to see whether you plan on ever doing it. We've got some Dungeon Escape, some Dying Light. Come on, you can finish Dying. I love Dying Light. Platinum Player, I reckon you can finish Dying Light. If you need help boosting those trophies, I will help you boost Dying Light. You have the simmy guarantee right there. With some Dying Reborn. I didn't know they did a VR version for Dying Reborn, actually. That's interesting, given that the game is not really much of a game from memory. We got Energy Cycle and Energy Cycle on PS Plus. On PS5. The PS5 version has a sick art cover in comparison to the PS4 version. We've got Energy Cycle Edge. We've got some Epic Word Search Collection. I believe those are similar to like the Paugi games, for example. Hey, we've got the spin-off to Dead Island there. Escape Dead Island. This is like a spin-off. I believe it's like a twin stick from memory, right? If I'm not mistaken. I have played this, but I don't have any recollection of it because I remember it being very bog average at best. Evolve, you actually played a lot of. This is an impressive one. Now all of these trophies are down. Never mind, 2 of the trophies are down. Really? I thought the servers were entirely down. Hold on. What can't you do? I thought it was going to be everything. I thought the whole thing was down just because the servers no longer exist. Create a badge in the professional badge creator, in the profile badge creator. It looks like everything else can be done. It actually looks like, looking at this platinum play, you can earn this platinum still, because you have the 1 trophy locking out the platinum here. For those of you that are curious, anything orange is unobtainable in PSNP Plus. I can leave a link to that in the description again if you'd like. It's a plugin for PSNP that is really, really bloody good. I highly recommend it. It's definitely made my usage of PSNP significantly better. We've got F1 Race Stars. This is an F1 racing game, obviously. We've got some Fall Guys. I love to see it. I've actually just recently gotten back into Fall Guys. I don't think I'm going to go the PS Plus. The PS5 version. I don't know why I'm saying PS Plus for PS5. I don't think I'm going to go for it, just because I've done that 5 wins in a row already. I've suffered through that already. I did it when the glitch was obviously a thing, but I've since also got it legit once more after that. I just can't brag on that because I did the glitch early. But Fall Guys is a lot of fun. I've just recently got back into it. The new season is actually an absolute blast. I'd recommend people maybe go back and play some of those maps just for fun. We've got some Fallout 4. You didn't really get into that one at all. I can understand that some of those DLCs are very, very throwaway. They're essentially $7 for an hour quest and then some fucking around with the settlement stuff. It's not very fun. It's not very fun at all. Far Harbor's good. I liked Far Harbor. The rest of it, no. Nuka-Cola World, no. No, not my cup of tea, personally. We've got some Family Guy. I think that Family Guy game is actually worth a ton these days, physically, funny enough. It was like I believe Back to the Multiverse, because there's a couple of them, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is the one that was inspired by Simpsons Hit and Run. We've got Far Cry Classic, which, can we just have a Simpsons Hit and Run remaster, please? I've only been waiting like 15 years. The time is now. The time has come. We've got some Fat Princess, some Far Cry Classic. Another one I wish we got ported to PS4/PS5, because I would play the hell out of Far Cry Classic. For those of you that don't actually know, Far Cry Classic wasn't made by Ubisoft from memory. I think they were made by someone else. And it feels different to a Far Cry game. It feels very, very different to a Far Cry game. You've got aliens and stuff like, or monsters, I guess they are, and stuff like that, which is very unique. We've got a Fat Princess. I think I've seen this on every account that isn't mine so far. We've got 50 Words of Paugi. That's a way of naming that, yeah. 50 Words of Paugi times 2. We've got a Final Fantasy. I'm actually surprised we didn't get more of those. I was actually expecting quite a large amount of them when I was commenting on the Disgaea series earlier. I was expecting quite a bit of Final Fantasy, and we've only got the one here, and you didn't really get into it. I am curious as to if you have any plans on doing the rest of the series. You also will have to forgive me in today's video. My voice probably sounds a little gravelly compared to usual. I've semi-lost my voice after yesterday's stream over on Twitch. Gonna plug myself because shameless plug is shameless. I did a lot of screaming and I've since lost my voice, so if I'm a little bit gravelier than usual, I do apologize. Hopefully it'll be back before next week's video. We have Firewatch, which is an awesome game. I love Firewatch. It's one I need to do myself on Symmetry. It's essentially like a walking sim, like a psychological walking sim is how I would describe it. You're a dude who has essentially moved away from a really shitty situation and has taken a job as a dude just hanging out in a Firewatch tower in a national park. You can only talk to one other ranger on a walkie-talkie, essentially. Some events sort of start to happen. It's a great one. I think it has DLC. I'm curious, if I open up Firewatch, do we have DLC here? We do have DLC, yes. Okay, I've never played the DLC, and I want to. So this might be one that's way up my alley, to be honest with you. This might be one I go back to very soon. Actually, this is really impressive. We have a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's here. I didn't even know there was that many of these, to be perfectly honest with you. We've got Five Nights at Freddy's stacked. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 stacked. You didn't complete number 2 on North America, but you did on the EU. Is this one you plan on going back and doing? In fact, why did you... I'm curious. I'm not criticizing here. I'm just curious. Why did you go and do Five Nights at Freddy's 2 EU when you already had NA on your account? Is it because you only had 2 trophies left? And you just wanted to go back and actually play the game again, I'm guessing. Is that one you plan on cleaning up? We've got 3 stacked with the 100%. Always love to see the 100%. 100% that don't have platinums don't get enough love, in my opinion. We get Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Again, you've got all the way to the last 2 trophies. I'm guessing they're survived the entire thing without dying, and that sort of fun stuff. We've got Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted. I didn't know there was a VR one. That sounds terrifying, to be perfectly honest with you. We've got Security Breach, which is one I actually kind of want to do myself. Is Security Breach worth doing? I think I own that game. I know it came out earlier this year, so I am tempted to do it myself. Do let me know if that one is worth doing without doing the rest of them first, because I've never actually played Five Nights at Freddy's. I know I'm the one person. I'm also the one person that never owned Flappy Bird. So, I'm very behind on all things popular half the time. We've got some Flatland here. Some of these actually being significantly rarer than others. Flatland Prologue, fairly easy peasy. Flatland Volume 1, however, actually significantly rarer. That's pretty interesting to see, actually. And then we have Volume 2 as well. We've got Fluxteria. We've got Football Game. I'm going to guess that Football Game is actually soccer and not rugby, as I call football. Foxyland, multiple times. I've heard very good things about Foxyland, actually. This is one that I've been recommended a few times, funny enough. We've got some Freddy Spaghetti. It got a sequel. Freddy Spaghetti has a second one. That is incredible. I know nothing about Freddy Spaghetti. I think I said this last week maybe, or the week before. I want to know what Freddy Spaghetti is. I'm suddenly fascinated in whatever this game actually is. We've got some Frobisher Says with the scariest thumbnail I've ever seen. That is going to keep me up at night. That's terrifying. Frozen Freefall Snowball Fight, I believe, is like a Gems of War kind of clone. Not much else to really say about that one. You just match up gems, kind of like Tetris. We've got Fruit Ninja here. Wow, that's a throwback to 12-year-old symmetry. I was the Fruit Ninja Pro on the iPod Touch. We've got some Full Blast. We've got some Funny Truck. The Game of Thrones Telltale Twice. That is 2 more times than I can sit through that one. It was, for me, that was a very average one, as a massive fan of A Song of Ice and Fire, the books, not the show, obviously. I like the first 3 seasons. Everything after that doesn't exist to me. I just sort of felt like that Game of Thrones Telltale needed an extra episode or even an extra series before where it started. I feel like, I don't want to spoil things, obviously. I don't want to spoil the game, because it's worth playing once, maybe twice, if you're brave like Platinum Player. Twice for me, once at best, and that's a struggling best. I just felt like the time period that they started the game is the part that I find really interesting from the books. They just started a little late in that period. They could have gone a couple of months prior or something in terms of the story of A Song of Ice and Fire, and really develop some characters first. And I feel like that would have made it a hell of a lot more interesting to me personally. Do let me know if you agree, if you're a Song of Ice and Fire fan as well. I know I can't really read, but I've read those books. It was a struggle. It was a struggle. My Australian education succeeded me right there. We've got Get Off My Lawn, Gauntlet, which I think Gauntlet is a free-to-play that is very, very hard. Hence the 2.13%. Ghostbusters, this is another game where the multiplayer has been closed, and also I believe the game itself has been delisted. We've got a couple God of Wars here in the spin-offs. We don't have any mainline game of God of Wars, but we do have Chains of Olympus and Ghosts of Sparta. I'm interested to sort of see what your choice, why those two were the ones you started. I also see you didn't really get into those. Are you sort of, is there a chance of you maybe going back and smashing the series out before Ragnarok comes out, maybe? Personally, I'm hoping that Australia eventually gets the PS3 version in the PS Plus Deluxe at some point, so I can platinum those myself, because those are actually fairly fun beat 'em up hack and slashes. I would say some of those early God of Wars. 2018 is also a very good game, just obviously a very different game in comparison. We then have Golden Axe, which, like I said, this was the game you actually got your first trophy in, which is really, really cool. Like I said, I didn't think it was going to have a platinum trophy. I was correct. I believe it's a hack and slash. I believe Golden Axe is a hack and slash. I actually think was it an older game that was ported to the PS3, potentially? Because the name rings a bell. We've got Gold Zero, we've got Grand Kingdom. This is one that I've actually seen a few times, not necessarily complete. I know it's a very, very hard one that obviously has servers that have since been shut. GTA 5 on PS3, same deal, servers that have been shut, rolling out all of those trophies. That really sucks. That one sucks that there's so many trophies tied to that. We've got some Grass Cutter. I like mowing the lawn myself. Gravity Duck, we've got some Gravity Rush, some Grim Fandango. Gravity Rush is a game that I've heard amazing things about on the Vita. I've heard people claim that it carried the Vita, which is some pretty hefty compliment right there. We've got some Grim Fandango right there. That's another interesting one that was made by LucasArts, I believe. We've got Grizzland, Guard Duty. Guitar Hero Live is an awesome one to see there. That might be our new second most impressive game. I still think Crysis is winning, but I know people that did. I think it was for Guitar Hero Live. So one of the trophies in here. Let's open this bad boy up. Let's open this bad boy up and have a quick look-see. I believe if I sort the order by rarity on PSNP, yes, it was this game. I remember another YouTuber on here, Snickle, shout out to Snickle, does really, really good content. I remember Snickle talking about a trophy on here where he had to strum 1,000,000 times, right? This trophy right here. From memory, I remember, I think it was him, and it might have been some other people on PSNP. I could be getting it wrong, of course, but I think this is how it worked out. I remember people talking about they were getting power drills and like setting up a paddle on the power drill to smack the guitar so that it would just strum as fast as it could, so that they didn't have to do it themselves, because that's an insane amount of times to strum a guitar. And that might be the best way I've ever seen a trophy be earned. That might be the funniest and most impressive, like, that is fucking genius way I've seen a trophy ever earned right there. And it is nice to see that you also nailed that one out. That is a super impressive platinum trophy right there. That is a really good one there. We've got some gun crazy, some guns up. Hebroxia is one we've seen a few times, I believe. Hannah Montana, the movie, the classic, the original Easy Peasy. It's a nice one to see there. Again, like I said, if you look at that there, Hannah Montana, the movie, was originally one of those games that people considered you were just playing it for the platinum, right? Like, people weren't playing that to experience a story or anything. 5 hours. 5 hours that took. That was a fast platinum 10 years ago. In comparison to, Gun Crazy, a couple above it, that is 8 minutes. It's kind of crazy how far that sort of genre, I guess you would call it, has progressed or regressed based on who you're talking to. We've got Hadafo Boyfriend. This is the one where you date pigeons. I've heard interesting things about Hadafo. I don't think it's one I would ever play myself. I actually didn't know there was a sequel. I did not know that Holiday Star existed until right now. And I would be curious, Platinum Player, what does it add? Is it just a different story in a different setting, or is it a different sort of game entirely? Do let me know, mate. We've got some heal. We've got some heavy rain. Heavy rain's an impressive one. You really fought through those 14 endings, I bet. We've got some Hello Neighbor and Hello Neighbor Hide and Seek. I actually had some mates that did Secret Neighbor, I believe, recently, which is the spin-off of this. And I believe it sucked. So I would be curious to see how Hello Neighbor is in comparison, because it is one that I kind of want to do myself at some point. So do let me know if that one is potentially worth playing. We've got some Hentai versus Evil. Name speaks for itself. We've got some Heroes Trials, some Hidden Agenda. Hidden Agenda's one that I was always really curious about that I believe we got free on PSNP. We've got some Hymno. We got some HIQ Ace. I believe we got HIQ Ace Unlimited on PSNP at some point because I own that one. I haven't played it myself. Those are ones where you just essentially, you've got a tile puzzle that you've got to move tiles around to form a picture. We've got some Hitman Go. I always love seeing Hitman Go. This is a tile-based, like... it's a puzzle game, but from memory, it's like a turn-based one where you got to like move your way through an environment without being caught and stuff like that. We've got some Hoggy. We've got some Home Horror Stories. I'd be curious. I'm actually curious to see what Horror Stories actually is. I've never heard of that, but I do like my horror games. So I'm guessing it's like a... I'm going to say if it's only 8 hours and it's a 17% completion, I'm going to say... it's a episodic, like story-based thing, kind of like Telltale. Do let me know if I'm completely wrong. It's a stab in the dark. I'm going for right there. We've got some Hotline Miami. We've got both of them. That is awesome to see. I do know that number 2 specifically is actually really, really difficult. I do know of other people that have gone for that recently and had some trouble with the game. Notably, I believe the field of view being very, very small, so you might not necessarily know who is standing on the other side of a room and what weapon they're holding. But Hotline Miami is a lot of fun. It's a throwback to those early, the very early top-down like Grand Theft Autos and stuff. And I definitely intend on doing at least the first game very soon. I bought that one very, very recently. We've got some Hungry Giraffe, some Hyperdimension Neptunia, another series I was expecting to see a lot more of. I think I might have been completely wrong, Platinum Player. I think I might have been completely wrong on the JRPG stab, because we didn't have Dragon Quest, we didn't have Final Fantasy, and we've only had 2 Hyperdimensions, so... boy, I missed the mark. We got some I Am the Hero. We got that one twice. I Am Me twice. Ice Age 3, 4, and Ice Age Scrat's Nutty Adventure. I kind of want to actually do Scrat's Nutty Adventure at some point. I do know. I think I watched Ray off of Twitch, the former achievement hunter fellow Ray. I think I watched a stream where he played that one, and it looked kind of fun, not gonna lie. We've got the Infamouses here. You did the first 2, you didn't really get into them. I would say if you ever go back and do number 1, good luck with the shards. My thoughts and prayers are with you. We've got Injustice Gods Among Us. This is one where if you would ever go for this, that would be insanely impressive, because I do know how hard this game is to do. The B rank itself is actually really impressive to see that you got far enough for that. We've got some Inksplosion, which I think is an easy peasy, but is potentially not as easy and easy peasy as some others. I think this one actually needs some skill, I believe. We've got some Intruders Hide and Seek, some IO Hero, some Iron Snout, some J-Stars of Victory VS Plus, Jack and Jill DX, classic easy peasy right there. will only take you about 10 minutes. We've got some Jack and Daxter right here. In fact, I think we've got... Do we have all of them? No, we don't have Combat Racing. Okay, so we don't have Jack and Daxter Combat Racing, but we do have 3 twice. You didn't finish on the Vita. Is that because the Vita's controls are janky, I believe? We've got Jack and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy. You've done Jak 2 without using the dev kit, which is actually really impressive. I'm definitely somewhat proud to see that that wasn't done with the dev kit. We've got Jazzpunk next, which I actually played this game this year. It's an easy peasy. Jazzpunk is an easy peasy. It'll take you at least 4 hours, I would say 3 to 4 hours, but it might be one of the most fun Platinums I've done this year in terms of it just being a ride. It was a lot of random stuff, and I loved it for it. Jazzpunk is definitely one I would 100% recommend. You play as like a spy in a weird world where there's a bunch of really random stuff, and you see a lot of random scenarios playing out as you interact with stuff. It is great. I would highly recommend it. I did have a glitch in Jazzpunk where in the second last level, I think it was, you're in like the penthouse of the bad guy. I had issues with that actually preceding the story. You had to like clean around the house and do some stuff like clipping a lady's toenails and stuff like that. I couldn't get it to proceed. I had to restart the mission, so the game might be a little bit glitchy for people, so do bear that in mind. But I would still say it's worth at least giving a crack. We've got some Jet Set Radio here. This is a classic PS1 game, I believe, that's been ported to the Vita, obviously. Jetpack Joyride has a ton more games than I thought it did. We've got the PS3 version, PS4 version, Vita version, and then we've got the deluxe versions of the PS3 and the Vita. I'm guessing there's probably a deluxe PS4 version as well. You've nailed all of them. Again, flashback to 13-year-old symmetry on the iPad right there. We've got some Jigsaw Solus, some Jisai, I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce that one. Joe Danger 2 the movie, that has a game. Joe Danger has a that's blown my mind. We've got some Jump Force with its very impressive 3.27% ultra rare. I always love to see stuff like that. Congratulations, PlatinumPlayer12. Just a phrase by Paugi. We've got a lot of Paugies. We're trying to get the completion on the Paugies right now. Just ignore them too. That's what I do when anyone points out that I haven't completed Titanfall 2. We've got Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. Killzone Mercenaries is one I would say would be very impressive to do. I was actually wondering if we were going to see like Killzone 2 or 3. But Killzone 2, 100% would be a very, very impressive one to... Oh no, I'm starting to see some Kingdom Hearts. Oh dear. Oh my goodness. That is impressive. That is very, very impressive right there. I think that might be all of them at 100%. That's a Platinum Player. That's a cheeky clap. That's a cheeky clap right there. Super fucking impressive. I think this beats Crisis. I think this collection right here, I love seeing a series complete. So seeing a million Kingdom Hearts with 100% back to back to back to back to back to back to back is awesome. I love to see this right here. This is great. Nice work, Platinum Player. I'm not going to bother saying all the names. I know that these are potentially very, very grindy, as you can see by the 2 months, 1 month, 5 years, 5 years, 4 days. No, that one's not very grindy. 5 years. As you can see, some of these here are very, very brutal to actually do, and PlatinumPlayer12 has nailed them. That is awesome to see right there. I'm going to take a quick water break and jump up and down in excitement or something. Because my voice is dying right now, so I'll be right back. Try not to miss me. This will be an instant for you, but it'll be an eternity for me. I'll be right back. So next up we have Kitten Squad's 100% there. That's actually a really impressive one as well. We've got Knack, another really, really good one there, because I know Knack was actually fairly brutal of a platinum to do. I know that it required I think you had to unlock chests for certain power-ups, and I think those were very RNG based, so you could get them in 1 playthrough or you could get them in 12 playthroughs, for example. Knighting Plus twice. Knowledge is power. This is a a quiz game, for example, that requires a lot of, say, phone devices and stuff. You've actually smashed out 2 of them. So I think you need, like, you know, a couple consoles and some mobile phones and stuff like that to have enough people to do quite a few of those platinums, which is really cool. We've got Lara Croft Go. This is the same sort of thing as Hitman Go, for example. The Late Shift, this is one of those sort of movie sort of games. I believe the Late Shift was free on PS Plus at some point. I think it's one of those ones where you've got several endings and decision-based trophies while you watch a movie and make choices based on actions done in that sort of movie of sorts. We've got Layers of Fear, not complete. I can completely understand this. I remember watching gameplay of Layers of Fear and being blown away, and then playing it myself and being so underwhelmed. I need to go back and finish this one myself. I did do Layers of Fear 2 very recently, and I thought it was significantly better of a game. So if you did want a horror game, Platinum Player, I would say that Layers of Fear 2 is significantly better than number 1. And it's got a platinum at the end, so that's always nice too. We've got League of Evil twice, Legends of the Skyfish twice, Legends of Talia Arcadia 4 times. Wow, that's a lot of Arcadia. We've got some Lego games here. The only one complete is Lego Indiana Jones 2, which is a very interesting choice, given that I know a lot of people would say that that is actually the worst Lego game that isn't Lego Worlds, of course. Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars, in my opinion, is actually the one of, if not the best Lego game. I would also say that Harry Potter 1 to 4 is another one of those, like, top 5 at the very least. Both very, very good. I would say if you wanted games to clean up on your account, those would be 2 I highly recommend, because they're also those games being stupidly grindy. Looking at you, Star Wars Saga, probably besides Horizon Forbidden West, my most disappointing game of the year so far. We've got Let's Fish, Hooked On, Licky the Lucky Lizard Lives Again. That is a name. That I almost want to buy a Vita just to play Licky the Lucky Lizard Lives Again. That is amazing. We have some Life is Strange here. We don't have True Colors, which I personally would say is the only good Life is Strange. But you do have Life is Strange 1 twice, 2 only once. I think you can only do it once though, and then Before the Storm. I'd be curious if you plan on going back and doing the remasters that they did really recently, or True Colors, because I would say True Colors is 100% worth playing, especially if you manage to slog through 2. We've got Limbo, you started but didn't really get into. That's fair. I like Limbo, but I can absolutely see why other people wouldn't. It's like a very dark game where you side scroll as a little kid into some very creepy environments and stuff, kind of like Little Nightmares, but without the color. We've got Little Adventures on the Prairie, another like OG easy peasy game right there. We've got a lot of, oh, I like this. I like the Little Big Planets right here. We've got Little Big Planet 1, 2, 3 twice, Karting and the Vita, all 100%. All have their servers shut at this point, which is really, really sad, besides 3 on the PS4. All very fun games. If you don't remember Little Big Planet, these were games where everyone made their own levels and uploaded them to a server, and you could play other people's levels and stuff. It was really interesting at the time. I remember it being a big deal when Little Big Planet 1 and 2 came out. I don't really remember it being as big a deal from that point sort of onwards. Obviously, they have a spin-off in Sackboy on the PS5, which is one I plan on doing at some point, but I think it's more a platformer than anything, to be perfectly honest with you. We've got some Loadout. Lollipop Chainsaw is a great one. This is like a hack and slash where you play as a cheerleader with her boyfriend's head on her hip, and you hack up a lot of zombies. Lone Survivor, you didn't really get into. I believe that is a Tom Clancy game from memory. We've got Loot Hero DX twice, Many Faces, Marooners, Marvel vs. Capcom Origins is a really unique one to see there. There's a lot of like pre-Marvel taking off with movies. They had a lot of attempts at video games that didn't really work, and I think Origins is one of those. However, after movies, they've made some pretty banger games, and I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy, which is one you've got here. That was a recent platinum of mine that The combat sucked, but every other aspect of Guardians of the Galaxy was great. Oh, actually, I'm an idiot. Turns out that's the Telltale one and not the one I'm talking about. So the Telltale one is like the Game of Thrones that we saw earlier, and the Back to the Future that we saw earlier. Another one of those where you essentially are watching like an animated movie and making decisions for the characters that affect different outcomes down the line. This is one of those ones. It's not actually the one made by Marvel or Square Enix or whoever made the one that I played recently. We've got Masto is Together twice. We've got Mega Man 10, Mega Man Legacy Collection. Those are always really impressive to see. I know those are genuinely very, very difficult, 100%. So the fact that you made as much progress as you did is super impressive, mate. We've got some Mega... What on earth is this name? Mega Tag Mention Blank plus Neptune vs. Zombies. That is a name that exists. That is a name that exists right there. That's top tier. We've got some Mecha Bolt twice. We've got Meme Run 2. What about Meme Run 1? Come on, you got to complete the series, Platinum Player. We've got some Memory Lane 1 and 2. Metagal multiple times. Some Micetopia. Some Midnight Club Los Angeles. This is one that is a real shame that it shut the servers, because Midnight Club was actually a really, really good series. I believe it was made by Rockstar, if I'm not mistaken, and is one that I would love to see them go back to at some point, because they're actually really, really good. We've got some Midnight Deluxe, which is made by the same people that did 30 Fragments of Midnight, hence why the thumbnail is near identical, and I think the game is near identical to 36 Fragments. You did them all in under an hour there. We've got some Milo's Quest. We've got some Mina and Michi, which is really, really cool to see. Here are some good ones. We've got Minecraft, not at 100%. We've got hold on. We've got the base game for the PS3 is 100%. Not for the Vita and not for the PS4. Now, I am curious, if I open the PS4 one, do you have... It says there's 2 unobtainable DLCs, 13 trophies. It's 2 DLCs because I experienced this very recently and I'm still angry about it. You have to own a physical version of this game from December of 2020, I believe it is, to access the menu that lets you access those 2 DLCs. Buying it now, you won't be able to access those 2 DLCs. It was an absolute stuff around to get these trophies myself. I got them very recently, so I do know they aren't fully unobtainable. They're just a nightmare. I am curious if we go into this, if you have those ones or not. When did you earn these trophies? 2017. So you do have, you can potentially access these. You do have a version that is old enough. Here they are right here. You can see that you earned 2 of them so far, and the next one will be a little bit further down where you've earned most of them. You didn't earn those 2 though. So I would say Platinum Player, I would say maybe go back and clean up the rest of those if you can find one other player to do it. You can use multiple controllers should you need to as well. Just makes life a little bit easier. That's what myself and a good friend of mine, shout out to Luke, we both did that very recently. And after starting the game over a year ago, because it took me a year to get a version of the game that could actually do those bloody trophies. You haven't put the additional stack for the Minecraft PS4 on there. I would say if you just want easy peasy trophies, I would say load that stack up and just auto pop them all when you go to a realm. Or it's not an auto pop, but you can do it within minutes. You just go to someone's realm where they've got the requisites for the trophies set up and ready to go, and you just go in and just do the activity very quickly. It does not take long at all. We've got some Telltale Minecraft here in Story Mode and Story Mode Season 2. I think they made more seasons than that. I'm not entirely sure, just because I never really followed that Telltale series. It did nothing for me personally. You smashed it out on the other hand, which is really nice to see. We started Mirror's Edge. We didn't get very far into Mirror's Edge. I can understand that with all the time trials and all that sort of fun stuff there. We've got some mix-ups by Paugi. This is one where it's like a word scramble, and you've got to find words based on like a jumbling of letters, I believe. We've got some Mocky Boy. I've never heard of this one, but again, that is a glorious thumbnail. We've got Mum Hid My Game and Mum Hid My Game 2. Well, you clearly found your game, Platinum Player, because you went and completed that afterwards. I know, very good joke. Another clap for myself. I'm very proud of that one. When this series fails on me, I'm going to go into trophy comedy. It's going to be a whole thing. It's going to be great. We got some Monster Mon Piece, more Dark, some Mortal Kombat. They are unobtainable though. Ooh, and that is more trophies unobtainable than you've earned. So I'm slightly worried. I'm slightly worried, Platinum Player. We got this one's unobtainable too. I did not know that. I did not know the Mortal Kombat 10 was unobtainable. That is concerning. We've got some MotoStorm Apocalypse, Mr. Masagi, another classic. I'm expecting My Name is Mayo. If we don't get My Name is Mayo, I'm gonna walk out of the video. I'm gonna walk out of the video and go on strike. We've got some Murdered Soul Suspect. This is a game I've talked about I did myself that I have literally no recollection of. It was that unmemorable. You play as a ghost detective who is killed, who then as a ghost tries to solve the crime or something from memory. It was so forgettable that I think it was probably okay. Like, you know, that sort of classification of game where it's like you didn't hate it enough to remember it, but you didn't like it enough to remember it. So it's kind of just, it just exists. That is Murdered Soul Suspect in a nutshell. We've got some Music Race. Oh, here we go. Let me My Big Sister, Muv Love Alternate. Easy peasies by the look of it. Actually, no, hold on. Let me give them their fair just. These aren't easy peasies. They're not, because we got a 53% there. So I'm guessing visual novel, maybe visual novels right there. I'm not entirely sure, to be perfectly honest with you. But now let's get down into this goodness. Oh, it's beautiful. It is truly beautiful right here. My Name is Mayo. My Name is Mayo 2, and My Name is Mayo 3. It is chef's kiss. Chef's kiss right there. I always love to see this this gem of a series completed, and not only have you completed it, but you've stacked it. This is now one of the most impressive stacks on this list. I love it. I love it. 10 out of 10 Platinum Player. 10 out of 10. We've got some NBA The Prelude, which I think I've talked about this before. They were like a weird free-to-play, almost like tutorial for the NBA 2K game that was coming out in that respective year. They often only took like an hour or so to do from memory. You've clearly smashed them out. They were then always like the servers went down the next year when the next Prelude came out, kind of thing. We've got some Neko Para Volume 1, 2, and 3 twice. Never heard of them, if I'm honest. I'm guessing visual novel, potentially. We've got some Neon Junctions, some NHL. We've got a hockey man in here. Got some hockey. I'm gonna guess quite a few trophies. Yeah, so I assume ranked and all that sort of stuff. The servers have gone down, so you can't play those. No heroes allowed. Well, I guess I can't play that game then. We've got Nobby Boy. This is one we've seen a few times because I absolutely recognize that thumbnail as being legendary. We got some Null Drifter, some Nurse Love Addiction. That's a game right there. Nurse Love Addiction. Octodad. I love to see Octodad. So Octodad is a game where you play as a giant squid who's got a family of people, and you have to do a bunch of activities in various environments that don't make you look suspicious. So if you've got to plant the garden, you've got to wail your tentacles around and all that sort of fun stuff. It is Octodad is an absolute blast, and one I'd highly recommend. You were really good at it to do it in 3 days and an hour. I personally am not good at that game, but I do love Octodad with a passion. Absolutely fantastic game. Taking out of context, that's a really weird thing to say. I love my Octodad. We've got some One Escape. We've got some One Night Stands. We've got some One Word by Paugi. We're going back to the Paugies. We did have a One Piece Warrior in here, but it's not fully finished. I think that one's a beat 'em up, right? From memory, Pirate Warriors. We've got some Orc Slayer. This is another classic easy peasy right there. We've got some Ord. We've got some Pac-Man. Pac-Man's always a really fun one to see a few games on, because there's always a bunch of games that I didn't know existed for Pac-Man. Like Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures right there. Never heard of it, but that thumbnail is terrifying. That is a terrifying thumbnail right there. We got some Patchy on a roll, some Paint Park Plus. Some Paradox Souls is actually a kind of cool one to see. Payday would be a really, really impressive one. I see you've only just gotten into it now. That game is very, very grindy. I would say that would be a rough one to go back to, but it'd also be a really, really impressive one to go back to. I think you need a group for it though, so let me know if that's one you ever do plan on maybe returning to. I just want to go back to one I skimmed over real quick. Papers, Please is made by the same dude that did one of my favorite games of all time, Return of the Obra Dinn. I haven't played Papers, Please myself. It's one I plan on playing. You essentially are a security guard at a checkpoint, at a border checkpoint, and you are stamping passports to let people into a country or not. And you've got a lot of trophies based on scenarios that you have either intentionally or unintentionally set up by stamping maybe the wrong people and allowed them into the country. Very unique and interesting concept, and one that I definitely plan on playing myself. I see you didn't necessarily get into it yourself, which is a shame, but definitely a very, very good one right there. We've got some Peasant Night ×3, some Peggle. Peggle's always a really cool one to see. In fact, the 100% in Peggle 2 is really, really cool. I definitely like seeing that. It took you a year. That's commitment. That's commitment right there. The Perils of Baking and the Perils of Baking Refrosted is interesting. I want a donut now. I might go and get a donut after this because I now really, really want one. We've got some Period Cube, some Phantom Breaker, some Pity Pit, some some Plants vs. Zombie, all the Plants vs. Zombies, and they're all 100%. Again, I love seeing completions of a series. This is another one of them right here that's bringing a smile to me face. We've got Plants vs. Zombies on the Vita, PS3. We've got Battle for Neighborville, Garden Warfare, and Garden Warfare 2 are essentially very, very similar to, say, Call of Duty or a Battlefield, in that they're kind of like a PvP shooter of sorts, where one team plays as various different plants, the other team plays as various different zombies. It's awesome. Very, very fun games. One of them does have trophies that are no longer obtainable. This is to do with dailies from memory. There was like daily challenges and stuff that have since been removed. I think that's what they were tied to, but absolutely amazing series right there to have. Not as impressive as Kingdom Hearts, but definitely up there. We've got some Battle Royale, another one that's really, really impressive to see. This was PlayStation's answer to Nintendo's Smash Bros. So you had, Kratos versus Nathan Drake, for example, which is a very unique scenario when you think about it. We've got some PlayStation Home, and I think the Vita had one as well, were essentially like built-in games that took advantage of different features. So you might have had, the rumble of a controller, and you had to tilt it to do little mini games and stuff. Very interesting sort of scenarios. Obviously this one's servers have gone down. In fact, all of its servers have gone down. Wait, was PlayStation Home, it had like a social sort of aspect to it too, didn't it? You could hang out with other players and stuff or something from memory. We've got Worlds, we've got VR Worlds, we've got Poker Night 2 at the inventory. Poker Night at the Inventory 2. That's a name right there. Poker Pretty Girls Battle Fantasy World Edition. You like your poker. PlatinumPlayer12 likes their poker, which is cool to see. We got some Portal 2. I did not know that it was down. That's a shame. Because Portal 2 is a genuinely very, very good game as well. You're essentially trying to get through a bunch of different rooms and stuff by taking advantage of a gun that lets you fire two-way portals. You can fire two of them, so you can sort of, say you fired into the wall next to you, and that then you then fired a second portal into a roof that let you bypass a wall in the middle or something like that. There were some cool scenarios like that. The game was very, very puzzle-based and very, very fun. Potion Party, Prehistoric Dude, that is an interesting name. We've got some Pretty Girls Breakers, getting into interesting names right here. Pretty Girls Breakers, Pretty Girls Klondike Solitaire, multiple times. Pretty Girls Mahjong Solitaire Blue, not to be mistaken with Pretty Girls Mahjong Green. Solitaire Green, sorry, my mistake. And then to really just polish it off, we've got Pretty Girls Panic. And those are on the PS5. I I don't know anything about these games besides they've got some Mahjong and Solitaire. So, in fact, they've got a combination. I didn't even know you could get Mahjong Solitaire. I did not know that was a thing that existed. I know what Mahjong and Solitaire are separate. I can't imagine what they would look like fused. Project Starship, Psycho Pass Mandatory Happiness. That was a free on PS Plus a visual novel that came out quite a few years ago now. I think 2017. I think when you did it might have been when it was free on PS Plus. I know that one's got quite a lot of endings tied to it. We've got Punchline. We've got some Quantum Conundrum, some Quick Maths. Maybe I need to play that because my math is appalling. We've got some Rabisco Plus multiple times, some Radio Squid. We've got Rainbow Moon's a really, really cool one that's there. And then, oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this is another good one. This is another good one right here. Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank's 2016 Essential Remaster of sorts. Number 2, Going Commando. Number 3, Up Your Arsenal. A Crack in Time, All for One, Full Frontal Assault, Into the Nexus, and A Rift Apart, and Deadlocked. I think that's all of them. I think you've got the whole series again. I'd love to see it. Smash that out. That is really, really impressive, PlatinumPlayer12. That's, again, another really, really impressive completion of a list. I'm still devastated you don't have the Assassin's Creeds done. I would love to see that. But this is an awesome one right here. We're going from one really impressive series completion to another one right here with Rayman Legends. We've got Rayman Legends and Origins. Now, one of these has a brutal trophy where you've got to do a lot of dailies for like months and months and months at a time, which is super impressive that you're able to knock that one out, mate. We've got some Red Boat. For those who don't know, Rayman Legends is like or Rayman in general is like a side-scrolling platformer where you're a dude that has no like limbs. You've got your hands and feet, but you don't have anything in between, which is interesting. We've got some Red Dead Redemption. You started it, but you didn't get really into it too much. We've got some Red Death Read multiple times here. Ooh, I was hoping for more completions in the Resis. This one hurts my soul because I love this series and I'm working on it myself at the moment. But you started Resi 4. You made a lot of progress in Resi 6. We've got Revelations 1 and 2 started each. Operation Raccoon City is an interesting one to start. You've got that one at a B rank. And then we have Darkside and Umbrella Chronicles, which are like the on-rail shooters from memory. And you have both of them at an A rank. Now, those two are super rare completions. Those two are both sub 2%. They don't have a platinum, which always, does affect stuff. But those are, I mean, I would like to see those maybe cleaned up a little bit. If I was going to recommend a series, this is probably one of them that I would recommend. But you've had a fair crack, and that's always nice to see. We've got some Riddle Corpses EX, some Rift Raccoon, some Rio. Rio is a tie-in game for the Pixar movie about the bird. Road Bustle is, I think, like Chickens on the Road, same sort of concept. Took you less than 3 minutes for that platinum. That is crazy. Robotics, we've got some Rocket League at 100%. It's a really, really cool one to see there. Always like to see that one just because I know how grindy some of those DLCs ended up being in that game and how many of those DLCs there actually are. We've got some Rocket Birds. One of these was free on PS Plus, and it's one that I have been tempted to do myself at some point. These are like side scrollers where you play as a commando chicken. Some Rogue Legacy, some Rogue Cube, Run Like Hell, Run Little Hero, Run Sackboy Run is a spin-off that I always forget exists. You can actually see the spin-off that I was talking about before for Little Big Planet Sackboy right there. But I always forget that the Run Sackboy Run exists as well. I think that was kind of like a Temple Run clone from memory. Rush Rover, then we get into the two Sackboys right there. one of them being auto popped, hence the 3 seconds there. So for those of you that don't necessarily know, you can finish a game on PS4, get all the trophies in it, meet the requirements for all the trophies, and then upload your save and use it on the PS5 to unlock all the trophies on the PS5 as well. I know that this is like a platformer, and I've heard good things. It's one that I'm tempted to do. I think it was Madbuck in the Discord very recently at that Platinum, so congratulations, Madbuck. But I've heard good things about Sackboy. That's one I plan on doing myself, at least somewhat soon. We've got Sackboy's prehistoric moves. Apparently there's another one. I did not know this one existed. That's new to me. I'm finding that one for the first. Oh, Saint Rose. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. 4 re-elected, get out of hell twice, and the third. All just started, but you didn't really get into. I'd be curious to see why you started so many of them without getting into them. Like I would have thought personally, if you didn't like 4 and 3, 4 and 3 there, then you wouldn't try the get out of hells. But I mean, you know, is this a series that you are planning on completing at some point by any chance? They're fun games if you can get into them. I would say of all of them, Get Out of Hell is probably the one that I enjoyed the least by a lot. So good luck with the 2 attempts on that one. You did need another player for Get Out of Hell as well for 3 hours. I've told the story of my co-op partner crashed with about 4 minutes to go, so we then had to do the entire thing again for them, which really sucked. We've got some Sakura Sakubai, lot of them, a lot of them. We've got Sam and Max. Oh, we got the Saws, Saw 1 and 2. I love to see Saw 1 and 2. These are really cool ones. Tie-ins to the horror movies, of course, but they're actually kind of rare. Like I know they're worth quite a bit of money because I actually tried to track them down to do them myself recently, and really impressive games right there. You play as the first game. You play as Danny Glover from the first movie. It's essentially a tie into that. You play as him. Really cool. I don't remember who you play as in Saw 2. I don't quite remember that one. We've got some scheming through the zombie apocalypse, the beginning. We don't have an ending to it though, so I'm left on a severe cliffhanger right here. We've got some Scott Pilgrim versus the World, twice, the game being the remaster of the first one. This is a side-scroller beat-em-up that is actually pretty cool. I wouldn't mind doing the PS4 version of that myself at some point, for example. We've got some Sega Mega Drive, some Senran Kagura. I know nothing about Senran Kagura Bon Appetit, to be perfectly honest with you. We've got some Shadows of Loot Box, some Shaq. Of course, we've got Shaq Fu right here. Shaq Fu is obviously a classic. PH. What does PH stand for? So for those of you who don't know, this is the region, or sometimes it'll be digital or physical version. So as you can see, EU is there. I'm guessing PH must be physical. I mean, the other one that comes to mind is maybe Philippines, but I don't think that has a region. So, like I think they're just tied in with us. We've got some Skylanders is a really impressive. Oh, actually, we've got a lot of Skylanders here. This is another one of those impressive ones where you needed those little like toys to unlock characters and stuff. So it's actually really cool to see Skylanders right here. And as many of them as you do have. You have started Superchargers, but you haven't necessarily gotten into that one. Swap Force being the unobtainable one here, I believe, because servers have closed. Let's just open this one up and have a quick sneak peek, as you would say. The Platinum Trophy is obviously unobtainable, and use the signpost in Woodborough to see the message of the day. Okay, so the servers have closed, which means that you can't see the new message of the day anymore. That sucks. That sucks that there's a trophy tied into that, and that is what is stopping people from being able to complete that. That's a dumb online trophy right there. Some Sleeping Dogs. It's my time to shine. It's my time to shine. In a recent video, I said that Sleeping Dogs was set in Hong Kong. I was wrong. No, I didn't. I said it was set in Singapore. It's set in Hong Kong, okay? I got them wrong. It's set in Hong Kong. It's not set in Singapore. I did it right this time. I've redeemed myself. That is, I've done it. I'm now good. My conscience has been cleaned. Cosmic Baller, who pointed it out in a video very recently. I've done it for you, man. I've done it. I've got it right. We're moving on. This is a clone of the Grand Theft Autos, but it's got a very melee sort of focus to it. Lovely game. Awesome. Really, really good one. I would say this is one you should definitely clean up if you still have access to Sleeping Dogs. Slender the Arrival multiple times is a really unique one. It's one that I plan on doing myself at some point, maybe for like a horror stream sometime this year. Maybe then I'll do a Slender the Arrival. We've got another completed series, and we had Bentley's Hack Pack earlier too, so I know it's definitely complete. But we have Thieves in Time, we have Thieves in Time, Band of Thieves, Honor Among Thieves, Thievius Raccoonus, and then Thieves in Time, and then Sly Minigames at the bottom here. Classics of the PS3, Sly Cooper being one of the PS3's mascots, I would say. It's kind of interesting that we never got a PS4 version of Sly Cooper. Like, I mean, it's been a decade since the last one was released, which is kind of crazy. We have Sonic All-Stars Racing. These are Sonic's equivalent of Mario Kart. And they're actually fairly tricky Platinums, I believe, hence the 1.26 and 1.46 respectively here. Oh, geez, now I'm messing all the formatting up. We've got actually quite a lot of Sonic here. Sonic Adventures, Adventures 2, CD, Sonic Forces, Sonic Generation, Sonic Mania, Sonic the Fighters, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1, Sonic the 4 Episode 2. I actually think they never released the rest of the episodes, did they? I think that's an interesting one, because I think they actually never released the rest of the episodes. I could be wrong, but that's kind of sucky. We've got Sonic Ultimate Genesis Collection. Didn't even know there was that many on the Genesis to warrant a collection, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. We've got Soul Calibur. We've got quite a few of them, actually. We've got Soul Calibur 2, 5, and 6 right here. All very impressive right there. Which one's the one that's got Geralt? I know our Soul Calibur does have Geralt in it, which is kind of cool. We've got some South Parks here. We've got the Fractured But Whole, the Stick of Truth. I've talked about these before. I love the Stick of Truth is my favorite of the two. It's like a turn-based with medieval sort of references and themes. Fractured But Whole is more grid-based with superheroes, but they're both very, very good. And if you like that sort of comedy, those two games are going to be right up your alley. We've got Space Intervention, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. That one's worth a fortune these days, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that one is worth quite a lot of money these days, and is actually a fairly good Spider-Man. You're sort of playing him across different dimensions that have been opened up by the big bad of the game from memory. We have SpongeBob, Hero Pants, and Plankton's Revenge. No Battle for Bikini Bottom, though. That was free on PS Plus recently. Is that one that you maybe are looking at maybe going back and knocking off at some point, potentially? We've got all three Spyros. You'd love to see it. Spyro is obviously a classic of everyone's childhood. We've got some Square Boy versus the Bullies. Who wins? You got to tell us who wins right there. Star Wall is a really, really cool one to see. You don't have a complete. That is another one I would say would be super impressive to see complete. I've heard good things about Steins Gate, actually. And you've got them all, I believe. Steins Gate, Steins Gate Zero, and Elite, and My Darling's Embrace. That's a hefty, impressive set of Steingates right there. We've got Strawberry Vinegar. Fair. Suicide Guy is another series that I've heard relatively good things about. Sleeping Deeply as well. Very dark names, but I've heard good things about those games themselves. We've got some Sunflowers not complete. Super Boxland D-Make. Again, I do apologize that I don't have a massive amount to say about a lot of these, 5 minute to 3 hour sort of platinums, just because I don't do them myself. Super Destronaut DX. We've got a lot of Super Destronaut, actually. We've got Land Wars here as well. I believe these are like Galaga sort of things where you play as a spaceship and you're shooting aliens in a very low bit sort of setting. I think that's how those ones work. I'm not entirely sure. Super Onion Boy 2, Super Weekend Mode, Super Willow D-Make. There's a lot of we're getting some D-makes in the supers right now. Some syrup. You always love a good dollop of syrup. Some Tagatan. Tales from the Borderlands is a Telltale one I actually highly recommend. This is quite a good one that I plan on doing myself very, very soon. It's set, I believe it's set between Borderlands 2 and 3. In fact, I know it's set between Borderlands 2 and 3 just based on the existence of some characters. Very, very good one. It's you're playing as a character who's essentially trying to pull off a heist from memory, and it's a good one. I would say of all the Telltales I've played, this is one I would recommend. We've got tank battles. Bearing in mind that I haven't actually played that many Telltales, because again, it's not my genre. I'm not big on watching games. I'd rather play them. Last Stop being an exception that I would highly recommend. Team Sonic Racing, we got Tearaway. Tearaway is one that I've been looking at playing. That's like a platformer where the world is made of little bits of paper and stuff like that. It's free on the new PS Pluses actually. Oh, we're getting some Tekkens. We're getting some Tekkens here. 6-7 Revolution Tag Team Tournament 2, Tournament 2's Prologue, Tournament HD. I love to see it. A lot of people Mortal Kombat. I was Tekken growing up, and so that is an impressive list of Tekkens right there. Tekken is a side scroller, I guess you would call it, fighter, where you fight another person. You can use the environment to your advantage and all that sort of fun stuff. I haven't played the recent ones like 6 or 7. I haven't played Tekken since the PS1. But I've fond memories of some of those older Tekkens. We've got both Terminator games. Resistance is not a bad game. It's not a good game. Don't get me wrong. It is not a masterpiece. But as a first-person shooter, it works, and that's all you can really ask of it. It uses Skyrim lockpicking for some reason. That was a bit of a weird choice. Salvation obviously being the classic easy peasy alongside Hannah Montana, which again, I'd like to point out, it took Platinum Player 3 months. I assume it didn't actually, if we were going to timestamps, it probably only took him a couple of days, but you know, that was an easy peasy in 2010 was something that took a couple of days, which is crazy. We've got Terraria. This is obviously the side-scrolling version of Minecraft that didn't blow up anywhere near as much as Minecraft. We've got Tetra's Escape. That's You is another one of those quiz games I talked about earlier where you use a lot of phones to get all the trophies to mimic having a lot of players in a lobby. We've got The Bunker and The Darkness 2. That is a game I would love to see remastered. The Darkness, you play as a fella who's in the New York Mafia that gets some superpowers where he's got tentacles on his back that eat dudes, and very, very gory but very, very fun shooter slash supernatural power. I think it's based on a comic book. The first Darkness is also really good, but I love the second Darkness quite a lot. It's one I would love to do at some point if I could get my hands back on the game again at some point. We've got The Escapists and The Escapists Walking Dead. This is obviously made by the popular YouTube guys, The Escapists. I think they're side-scrollers from memory. You started The Evil Within, you didn't get much further than that. I do not blame you. It's one I need to clean up myself at some point, and that game is not great. It does not run well. It does not run well, put it that way. The Fancy Pants Adventures, The House of the Dead 3 and 4, I believe those are on-rail shooters from memory. Same with Overkill. The Idolmaster Cinderella Girls Viewing Revolution, and we've got some party packs. Jackbox. These are, again, ones where there are essentially a lot of mini games like Quiplash and stuff where you're playing them with mates and you're trying to, come up with the word funniest for the scenario and see, if you can get all the votes and that sort of fun stuff. I believe you can use mobiles again to boost the number of players that you have in a lobby. But again, another really, really good one right there, and very impressive 100% with the 0.75% right there. We've got Jumping Dog Turbo, The Language of Love. I believe that's a visual novel, potentially. We've got The Last of Us 1. You played through the game. You got actually quite a ways into the game, because I know a playthrough of the game nets you with like 2 trophies. So you actually did quite a lot of it, but I'm guessing you never bothered with the multiplayer DLC and the Firefly journeys and all that sort of fun stuff. But fair effort to get an A rank there, because I know when I played it, I had like 2 trophies. Little Acre, we got the Order 1886. I've talked about this before. I don't hate this game. It's okay. It's worth playing. The Order's worth playing if you can get it for $5. You play as a dude who's essentially fighting werewolves in 1886, believe it or not. The Park is a little quick horror game that was good. I did the Park myself. It's okay. It's nothing really to write home about. Essentially, a theme park is closed down. Your son is still in there, so you go looking for him and sort of relive certain memories and stuff that make things a lot more deeper than at surface level. We've got the Playroom VR. I believe I might have mistaken PlayStation Home for the Playroom earlier. I do apologize if that is the case. We've got the Simpsons arcade game, the Treasures of Metazuma. We've got some Walking Deads right here. We've got a Walking Dead fan. We have the first game in every single version that you could have it in. A New Frontier, Michonne twice, Season 2 3 times. Survival Instinct is not a Telltale game. Don't get that one wrong. The rest are. The final season multiple times, including the disc version. The Definitive series, which has all of them in one from memory. And then obviously The Wolf Among Us is not Walking Dead, but it is Telltale. Very, very impressive right there. I need to play the first Walking Dead Telltale at the very least, just because I know how big that one was in kickstarting Telltale's popularity. Walking Dead Survival Instinct is not a Telltale game. This is a first-person zombie level-based survival, I guess you would call it, where you play as... I believe you play as Daryl from memory. I did play this back in the day. It was super forgettable because no one liked this game when it came out. I think you play as Daryl and Merle from the show as they sort of come to terms with the fact that the world is now filled with zombies. We've got The Wolf Among Us. This is a Telltale game that has been recommended to me quite a few times now. Thomas Was Alone is another little puzzle game that I've been recommended a few times. Thunderpaw, Thy Sword, Tic Tac Letters by Paugy. At this point, I think they're just coming up with ways to jumble letters. I've never heard of Tic Tac Letters before. This is new to me. TMNT Out of the Shadows. We got Turtles in Time Reshelled. That one took you actually quite a lot of time. That's a really cool one to see. We've got Tokyo Run. Toro is like one of those weird ones that I remember being like a unique one when it came out on PS3. This was like a what do you call those? The thing where you got the blanket and you throw it around a bull. We then have quite a lot of unobtainables right here in Traveler Bug, Treasures of Montezuma Arena, and of Montezuma Blitz. Next up we have Twin Robots ×2. This is like a little platformer of sorts, I believe. We've got Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Again, another one of those Marvel ones that's got a super ultra rare, but was kind of before Marvel did good games. I believe Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom actually is a fighter between Marvel characters and Capcom characters. However, we've got some Ultra Had Dimensions. We've got some Uncharted here. You didn't really get into Uncharted at all by the looks of it. We started Among Thieves and Drake's Deception, didn't get too terribly far into those, or Drake's Fortune for that matter. Fight for Fortune was the weird card game on the Vita that I believe, is not completable anymore, like the ones on PS3 with their servers being closed. And then Golden Abyss is the main title on the Vita itself. Undertale, I've talked about Undertale in depth. This is one that took the internet by storm back when it came out. We've got Uno, I think, has a near and dear place in every gamer's heart at this point. Until Dawn is like a horror version of Telltale where you play as a bunch of characters played by famous actors such as Hayden Panettiere and try and keep those characters alive through the night based on decisions that you make can lead to them being killed or not. It's actually a fairly good game, and I know the Man of Medan and the sequels are not as good as Until Dawn, I believe, but are also fairly good. We've got Valiant Hearts: The Great War. We've got Vanquish, which is like a free-to-play version of, say, Destiny, I guess is a reasonable comparison. Velocity Ultra, Verblanc Full Moon. We've got Virtue's Last Reward. We've got Waifu Impact twice, but fair enough. Wake Up Club, War of the Heroes. We've got Warlock's Tower twice. I believe that's a puzzle game. We have a few 100%'s actually really cool one here. So this is an ultra rare. This was the game that was interesting before it came out, and then I believe was very lacking and bugging when it actually did release. You played as a guy who kind of woke up to the fact that the civilization and society was like was all being drugged and coaxed into just living one very scripted lifestyle, and you try and break free of that and are hunted down, I believe is how that game worked. We've got Welcome Park, which was the Vita's like little, you know, mini games and stuff where you could tilt the camera to do a bunch of fun stuff and all that sort of stuff. We've got Without Escape. Oh, we've got some Wolfensteins here. We don't have Wolfenstein 2 or Youngblood, fair enough. But we do have the New Order and the Old Blood both complete there. You'd love to see that. We've got a gaggle of powdergies here. We've got Word Search, we've got Word Maze, we've got Sudoku. I told you there was going to be a Sudoku. I told you. We've got Word Wheel. We've got Word Sweeper. I didn't even know you could have this many games to do with words. We then get into the Worms series, which is a really cool one. The first Worms 100%. Worms 2 Armageddon, Battlegrounds, Revolution Extreme, and Ultra Mayhem have not been fully completed, but are all reasonably completed, and that's always super nice to see. I know these games get quite a bit of DLC and are quite hard in general too. We've got Zero Escape, Zero Time Dilemmas, one that I've heard very good things about. 4 Zeros twice. We've got Zerotopian Invasion, and then to sum it all off, to get to the end here, we have 3 very good games at the end here in Zombie, which is the Ubisoft one I talked about, I believe, in last week's video in Casio Legends account. Zombie Army Trilogy is made by the same guys that did Sniper Elite. It started as a mod, I believe. You actually got a hell of a lot further than I did into that game, but I liked Zombie Army 4 a lot more than Trilogy. You essentially just playing for a level, fighting off a metric butt ton of zombies, and then to round it all off, we got Zombie Vikings with the juicy ultra rare, and that's Platinum Player's account. We saw a lot of very impressive ultra rares, which is always very nice to see. That Kingdom Hearts series completion is amazing. I love to see that. But that's episode 7 right there. We're going to wrap that one up now. My voice is dying very rapidly right now. I do apologize if I didn't sound as good as the normal audio in previous episodes. Like I said, I lost my voice in a stream that I did yesterday, so I'm hoping it'll be back for tomorrow's stream. But otherwise, I'm going to be in trouble. But that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. PlatinumPlayer12, thank you so much for letting me to cover your account. It was a very good account, and it was nice to see some of those ones like the Call of Duties, the Crisis, the Kingdom Hearts, the Ratchet and Clanks, all very impressive. Thank you so much for letting me look at it, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Once again, if you got this far, do leave a cheeky like and subscribe to let me know that you enjoy this. Do let me know what you do while you're watching these videos. Is this the sort of thing you put on whilst you are maybe boosting a game yourself, or is this something you sit down and watch? Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. If you'd like your own account covered, do put it in the comments or join the Discord. We have a pretty rapidly growing community in there, and I can add you to the list. Anyway, I'll catch you next week. Try not to miss me too much. Goodbye.